NATO wants to increase its air and missile defense systems by 400%. Yes, you heard that right. A 400% increase, meaning 4 times more protection. But what's the reason behind NATO's sudden panic? You already know the answer. The Russian Federation. And as if the Russian threat wasn't enough, now there is a growing axis between Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, another major headache. This is exactly why NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte wants NATO members to spend 5% of their GDP on defense. NATO aims to collectively boost its air and missile defense capabilities by 400%, including more investments in anti-missile systems and early warning radars to counter Russia's aerial threats. Russian missile and drone strikes on Ukraine have exposed Europe's vulnerability. Europe thought it was safe and well protected, but clearly it isn't. Now, they have realized that if they want to stay protected from the Russian bear, they need to shield their skies as soon as possible. Right now, the 32 NATO members combined produce in a year what Russia produces in just a few months. That's a serious concern for Europe. Especially now, when under Trump, America has, in a way, sidelined Europe. Since Trump came to power, there has been a visible shift in US policy. America wants Europe to become self-reliant in matters of defense. To achieve this, the NATO chief wants all member countries to increase their current defense spending target from 2% of GDP to 5% of GDP. Out of this, 3.5% of GDP should be spent on core military needs such as troops, weapons, and technology. The remaining 1.5% should be spent on defense infrastructure like roads, bridges, airfields, seaports, etc. In fact, every area must be improved: troops, weapons, logistics, medical support, and so on. The overall goal is to be battle ready and make NATO even more lethal. Now, while all of this sounds great, is it really achievable? Can all NATO members meet such an ambitious target? Because many member countries are already struggling to meet the existing target of 2% of GDP on defense spending. They aren't even able to reach that, and now you're asking them to aim for 5%, which is 2.5 times higher. How is that even possible? Europeans are already struggling with inflation and high living costs. In such a situation, convincing them to pay more to achieve battle readiness won't be easy. Many NATO members lack the political will to push their taxpayers to meet such an ambitious target. So far, they had been comfortably relying on the US. But now, as America starts distancing itself from Europe, many European countries are unsure about what to do next. Achieving self-sufficiency in defense won't happen overnight. It will take time. That's why European nations are quite nervous. Meanwhile, the NATO chief is pushing this ambitious target by saying it is essential to deter Russian aggression. On the other hand, Russia is calling this plan aggressive. According to Russia, NATO's move is confrontational. The global environment is already extremely volatile. In such a scenario, any wrong step could suddenly escalate tensions. At this time, there is very little room for any kind of misadventure by any country. So, NATO members must avoid doing anything in panic that Russia might perceive as a threat to its national security. Because the last time that happened, Russia invaded Ukraine. That war is still ongoing and shows no signs of ending. It's clear that after witnessing such widespread destruction, no one would want to see a broader conflict erupt in the region.